Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co., and I'm about to put up a series of 3 videos covering kind of New Year's resolutions for myself. Not New Year's resolutions like a whole lot of things that I want to do better, but rather specifically games I want to play. I'm going to have a video of 10 games on Board Game Arena that I want to play, 10 games from my Unplayed games that I want to play, and then 15 games from 2023 that I want to play. All ranked as the most 10 on Board Game Arena, the most from my Unplayed games, and the most from 2023, all 35 games that I have not tabled and want to go ahead and learn and play. And the good news, by the way, is I actually got the first one done this morning, so only 34 left to go. Although, to be fair, I do plan on giving myself some grace room in the sense that I want to get to at least 30 out of these 35 games. Things happen, I can't guarantee everything. Some of these games I don't even own. One of them I bought yesterday, so I still don't own like 1 or 2 games. Either way, that's kind of just things I want to do for myself, kind of my own New Year's resolutions. They'll be coming up soon on the channel. I don't know if they'll all be the same week. I don't know if I'll spread them out week after week. I don't really know, but either way. But I did plan on following it up at the end of the year with a recap and a summary of those 35 games, how many of them did I table, and then my thoughts and opinions around those 35 games. That's going to be a video I do at the end of the year with these challenges for myself. And that made me realize that I've actually done 3 videos on games I want to play. And so maybe I should do a recap of how those went. Because I did a video of the 10 games I most want to play. This is a 2020 video. It was the 10 games in my collection that I most wanted to play at that time. I did a video in 2022 of the 2022 games that I most wanted to play. But I did this in 2022. And then a year later in 2023, I did a new video of the 2022 games that I still haven't played that I wanted to play. So 3 separate videos with, again, 10, 10, and 15. So again, 35 games that I wanted to play, and I wanted to do a bit of a recap and see how well I've done on those games over the past several years. Again, we're talking about 3 videos spaced out across like a 3-year period of them being filmed. And so let's start with the first video, the top 10 games I most wanted to play when I filmed in 2020. This video had 10 games on it. It had Roads and Boats, Escape Plan, Cthulhu Wars, Coloma, Lords of Hellas, Cloudspire, Dominance BC, Sky Tier, Dominations, Road to Civilizations, and Pipeline. Those are the 10 games I most wanted to play. Those of you who follow enough of my videos already know my thoughts on some of those games. Some of you may not, but let's go ahead and dive into it. From those 10, I did manage to play 8 of those 10 games. The 2 I did not play are Escape Plan and Roads and Boats. I still own Roads and Boats. It's the one I still own over here. In fact, actually, I am curious from the ones I haven't played, I'm curious how many I actually own. Because I own Roads and Boats, not Roads and Bloats. Roads and Bloats is probably a different game. But I got rid of Escape Plan after playing Lisboa and eventually realizing that as much as I like Vital Lacerda games in theory, I do find them more brain-burnery than what I'm personally looking for. I tend to like medium drifting to heavy and not full-on heavy because I don't know. It's just my personal taste in games. And so I like Vital Lacerda games, but they're not my main thing that I'm seeking out. I'm still happy to play Escape Plan one day. It hasn't happened yet. But from the other 8, let me tell you my thoughts on those. Cthulhu Wars is one that I tabled a bunch, and I got several plays of it. I kept it over for a series of months, but eventually I realized that as much as I think Cthulhu Wars is an excellent asymmetric area control game, it is one that I prefer other area control games. For me, area control is a very tightly contested genre, along with medium and heavyweight Euros, and that I have less time to play them as much as I'd like to play all the ones in the genre. So I do enjoy Cthulhu Wars, but I did eventually realize that it was going to get deprioritized compared to other games. Coloma is a nice medium heavyweight Euro from Johnny Pat Canton, Final Frontier Games. I think it's a very good game. Again, Euro games are a genre that I tend to keep the best of the best. It was a strong 4 to 5, same with Cthulhu Wars, in a genre that I have 4.5s and 5s. Lords of Hellas is a similar one. This one lasted for years. I love Lords of Hellas. I did give it a 5 out of 5 when I first played it. It did drift down over time. It probably ended at a 4.5. Like, I still think Lords of Hellas is fantastic. I think it's a great game, but ultimately, I have Lords of Ragnarok, and I have so many area control games that are my top, 20 games of all time. Like, Lords of Ragnarok is great, but it's not even top 100 for me. Versus DEI, Rurik, Cyclades, Kemet, Blood Rage. There's so many incredible area control experiences that Lords of Hellas did eventually leave because of Lords of Ragnarok, and honestly, even Lords of Ragnarok, I don't know if it's a forever game, but it's still here for right now. Cloudspire is incredible. Cloudspire is one of the 2 games that I still have from these 10. Well, I guess 3 if you count Roads and Boats, but it's Unplayed. I don't know if I count that. So Cloudspire is an incredible game experience that is hard to table, and it's possible that one day it leaves because of that. But I have too much appreciation for how good the game is when I play it that I'm not willing to get rid of it quite yet, or anytime soon for that matter. I think it's probably safe for a while, but it is one that, because of how infrequently I table it, like I finally got rid of Mage Knight after years and years and years of insisting how much I liked it, and I do think it's incredible. It's an incredible experience. It's one of the few, you can make an argument that it's a 5 out of 5, or you can make an argument that the fact that it's so hard to table makes it lower, but I finally got rid of Mage Knight despite still thinking it's a fantastic game every time I play it. Cloudspire may one day see that fate, but it's not happening anytime soon. It's still here. Dominant Species. That is one that I was so excited for. I thought area control in a highly rated game with I thought it was going to be totally my jam. I thought it's too chaotic. To me, the game is too chaotic for what it's offering, and additionally, the tracking of actual scoring and trying to follow what's going on, I find it so tedious compared to the elegance of other area control games that are out there that I have. And so for me, I both appreciate what Dominant Species is doing, but it's also totally not a game for me. Skytier is the next one over here. This one, I'm not yet sure if it's a forever game either. That said, I've had it in my collection for like 6 years, something like that. It's been around for quite some time, so it certainly has managed to stick around. But it's one that I like Rum and Bones more, and I think I like Guards of Atlantis more too. So from the three of those games, Skytier is my least favorite, but it's still very good. Right now, I am waiting on the new edition that will be coming out sooner or later, because I'm very curious what the revised version of Skytier will offer, and whether it will improve the experience for me. As it stands, I very much appreciate it. It's still here. It is one of the ones that it's one of the ones that I kept from though. So Cloudspire and Skytier are the ones I kept, which I guess are both MOBAs, which is interesting in its own right. Then Domination's Road to Civilization had a lot of things that I really enjoyed about the Civ experience. It's an abstracted Civ game, had a lot of things that worked really well. I think the experience as it was a little bit too long, that there were things that held it back for me. The overall placement puzzle was both very interesting, but also not at the same time. It's a weird one. It's one of those games I wanted to like a lot more than I did. It was a 3.5 out of 5, a very good game in many ways, and then kind of not as polished as I would like in other ways. And then Pipeline. Pipeline was one that I appreciate the game design, but it's not a game for me. I didn't enjoy Pipeline. I found it to be too tight in what the economy of the game is doing. I like games that make me feel like I'm doing a lot of fun, cool things, not games that make me feel like I have to really work and struggle to get even a small thing done, and Pipeline was more in the latter category. It's a brilliant game design, but one that's not for me. And so for this first batch, we have 8 out of 10 games I played, 2 out of 10 games I kept, 1 still to go. From there, the 2022 games I most want to play, filmed in 2022. We had 10 games on this list as well. We had Azul Master Chocolatier, but I should note, some of these videos have like honorable mentions. I'm not counting those. I'm counting the core games. We have Azul Master Chocolatier, we had Winter, we had Resist, War of the Ring the card game, Wayfarers of the South Tigris, Keep the Heroes Out, The Everrain, Sentinels of the Multiverse, The Age of Atlantis, and Heat Pedal to the Metal. Those are the 10 games I wanted to play. This is a video I filmed together with Devin and Meg at the end of 2022, and these are the 10 games. From these 10 games, how did we do? I played 9 of them, slightly better than the last list, and I've kept 3 of them. Again, slightly better than the last list. The one I didn't play, I did get rid of. I decided to not try with it. It's The Everrain, basically. The Everrain is the one I did not play. It fell into the list of campaign games that I wasn't going to prioritize over others. And so let's give you my thoughts on these games. Azul Master Chocolatier, I was really compelled by the chocolatey theme of Azul, and turns out I'd rather play regular Azul. It was a cute idea, but I'd rather play regular Azul. Winter was a game from Devir Games that I was thoroughly let down by. I thought it would be a very clever little game, and it was unimpressive. It wasn't bad, it was just very unimpressive to me. Resist was a very good game from 20th Century Games. I'm actually still want to get my hands on Witchcraft, which is the newer, better version of that. I enjoyed Resist, I enjoyed Resist, not without its flaws, but I definitely am interested in Witchcraft, which I think is supposed to be better in all ways, basically. From the theme is more preferable to me, the gameplay is basically the same, but more and better. So I'm interested in the Witchcraft, but Resist is not here right now. So you can call that a half if you want to count that one as far as how that goes. War of the Ring, the card game. I appreciate what the game is doing, it's not for me. I felt that the game really relied on people knowing the cards in the game, which means it's the kind of game that I would play it a few times, get better at the game because I know the game, but I'd never want to introduce new people to it because I would be at a major advantage if I know the cards. It's the kind of game that grows best with you playing with the same people, and I find that games that rely on me playing it with the same people again and again are games that ultimately do not get tabled. My game group has too much circulation as far as how things move that I can't guarantee. I don't keep games that I'm not willing to introduce to new people. It's very, very rare. It can happen, but it's very, very rare. We have Keep the Heroes Out. I was not overly impressed with this one. I was so excited to get it. I backed it. I got it. It's a very cutesy theme, little tower defense with cute meeples. I like the idea of the game. The actual execution, I just thought there were better cooperative games to play. The Everrain, as I mentioned, I did not play. Sentinels of the Multiverse is one that I did play, and for context, I had played Sentinels of the Multiverse. It was specifically the definitive edition that I wanted to learn and table, and I then did so, and I have it all. I still like this. This is one of the ones that made it. Wayfarers of the South Tigris is another one that made it. That's a great game over here. A great game, my favorite Garfield game. I love it. I think it's an excellent midweight Euro game. A solid 4.5 for me. Almost made its way into my top 100 this year. Didn't just by a small amount, but I could see it going back up as I play it more. I thought it was incredible. I really enjoy Wayfarers of the South Tigris. I was very happy with this one. Then we have the Age of Atlantis. The Age of Atlantis is technically still in a medium zone that needs more plays. I really, really enjoyed my first play of the game, but I also haven't played it since then. That's been over a year ago. I haven't played it since, and I really need to get it back to the table. I thought it was a great first game and one that I'm looking forward to getting a second and a third and a fourth game, but I was very impressed by the tech tree and the general powers and abilities and the cascading things you get as the game goes on, and I just need to table it more. But with only one play under my belt, it gets a maybe count over here. And then lastly, we have Heat Pedal to the Metal, that I think is a very, very popular game. I mean, I know it's a very, very popular game. For me, it was a good racing game. It's rare that I love racing games. I enjoy Heat Pedal to Metal. I would happily play it, but it's rare that I love those games, and I don't think that's any different over here. And so the three that I kept: Wayfarers of the South Tigris, Sentinels of the Multiverse, The Age of Atlantis. The one that I got rid of, the Everrain, not the one I didn't play, the Everrain, and the rest I just got rid of. Which brings us to the 2022 games I most want to play. From here, we have 15 games, and this is by far my worst showing. If you thought I was doing well until now, 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, I was. But this last list is one where I didn't do as well. And I don't know why that is. I think in many of these cases, I didn't even acquire the games, which makes it harder to table them. Like this year, when I have the upcoming list of like 35 games, I think I own like 32 of them, and I just bought the 33rd, so I'm down to 2 that I don't own. And that was with intent. It's with intent. I chose games that I either know I'm willing to get or games I actively already have. I think with my 2022 list, I was a little bit more, this list I'm about to go into, I think I was a little bit more optimistic about just things I wanted to play without really thinking through, am I going to hunt them down and acquire them, or do I just want to play? Now, don't get me wrong, some of the ones I haven't played, I do own. But again, I'm currently, up until this list, I'm currently doing 17 out of 20, and now we're about to drop hard off that. Because from these 15 games, we have Wandering Towers, King of Monster Island, Tribes of the Wind, Escape from Stalingrad Z, My Father's Work, Frostpunk, Familiar Tales, Rallyman Dirt specifically, Legends of the Void, Woodcraft, Dark Venture, The Light in the Mist, Hamburg, which is the re-implementation of Bruges, Federation, and Deep Rock Galactic. Those are my 15 games. And from those, I believe I played 5 of them. I've played Wandering Towers, King of Monster Island, The Light in the Mist, Federation, and Deep Rock Galactic, which means the other 10 I did not, putting me at a grand total out of 22 out of these 35 games that I've played. Now going through those, I still do have hope for some of them, some less so. Wandering Towers, I had a chance to play this one. I think it's charming, but a little too light for what I'm personally looking for. King of Monster Island, kind of the same camp. I think it's a good version of King of Tokyo. I enjoy it. It's cooperative. It's different things going on, but ultimately it doesn't make me want to like desperately play it. It's just a game I'm happy to play and enjoy. Tribes of the Wind, I didn't play. I never picked it up. I might get to it one day. Not in a rush. Escape from Stalingrad Z, I'm not in a rush for it. I don't know if I was in a rush. I must have been in a rush at the time because I was excited to play it, but now I don't think it's high on my list. Neither Tribes or Escape are high on my list. My Father's Work as well. I lost a lot of interest in that one. I don't know what happened. I just lost interest in tabling that one. Frostpunk, I do have and want to table. That is one that I am hoping I'll be able to get done at some point, but I don't have it done yet. Familiar Tales, I do want to play, but it falls into that system. It's a larger game that I just don't know if I will, practically speaking. Those games are best with higher player counts. I don't know if it'll get prioritized, but I do actually want to play that one. Rallyman Dirt. Rallyman Dirt actually made its way into my list of 2023 games I most want to play, which has me wondering, maybe I chose Rallyman GT, because the Rallyman Dirt would be, I need to take a look at my list, because I put Rallyman Dirt in my 2023 games, and I do want to play them. Oh no, maybe I put that, no I didn't, I put it in my BGA games. That's why. This is my BGA games list, which gives you a spoiler of what's coming up. But that explains that. So one of these games made its way into a subsequent list, so I still do want to play that one. Legends of the Void is one that I do want to play, but not enough to hunt down and get. Again, here's the problem there. Woodcraft is, again, I do still want to play Woodcraft, not enough to hunt down and get it. Dark Venture I own, and is one that I still want to play. It actually almost made its way into one of the new 3 videos that I'm doing. At the very last second, I swapped it out for another game, but it would have been the number like 11 pick on the top 10 games I most want to play for my unplayed games. It was my number 10. I swapped it out for something else, and so it became my number 11 and missed the cutoff, but I still do want to play that one a lot. Which brings us to the last 4. The Light in the Mist is one that, The Light in the Mist, I think is excellent. I think it's great. I should have coverage on it at some point, but I did get a chance to play this one, and I enjoyed it a lot. I have not finished it, but I like a lot what I've done so far. There's Hamburg, which is one that actually made its way into the new videos as well, into one of the new videos somewhere. Hamburg, I still desperately want to play. I love Bruges, so I'm not in a rush because I already know I love Bruges, but I want to try Hamburg, which is the re-implementation of Bruges. Then there's Federation. Federation is one I've gotten my first play in, and I want to play that one more. I need to play it again. I only loosely understand what I was doing, and I do want to get that one tabled, and I'll try to make it happen this year. And then lastly, we have Deep Rock Galactic, which I did play as well. Deep Rock Galactic I played, but it's one that I need more plays of. I think I played the first 2 scenarios. I have like all the content for it. I need to play it more. I will play it more. It shouldn't be too hard to play more. I like the first games that I played, and now I just need to play it more. And so that's kind of where we wrap up in the last list. It was by far the least interesting in terms of there were a lot of games I never prioritized. There were a lot of games I did play. Well, few games. 5 of the 15 that I played, and then maybe 5 of the 15 that I still want to play, and 5 of the 15 that I just stopped caring about. So this is by far the least impressive list from the bunch. Anyways, that is how I did over these 35 games. So what's the takeaway here? What's the takeaway? There were 35 games that I wanted to play. From those 35, I actually tabled 22. A handful of them I never prioritized further. A handful of them I still want to play if I can. From the games that I did play, because I played 22 of these games. These are my 35 most wanted to play games, and 22 of them I tabled. How did they do? Well, I currently have 8 of those games. 8 of those 22 games I actually kept. So that's not the best ratio. It's a little better than a third of the games I actually thought were good enough to hold on to and keep, which is a good reminder. If you're looking for takeaways of why did I just spend 20 minutes watching Alex talk about games he wanted to play and then did or didn't, possibly as a reminder that the games you most want to play, many of them probably still won't be winners for you. You don't have to hunt down everything. Some games will be amazing, some games won't. In general, if you have opportunities to try before you buy, gaming conventions can be great for this, board game cafes can be great for this, your friends who have less self-control than you can be great for this. Honestly, sometimes just waiting 2 years and seeing if people still talk about those games can also be great for that. Sometimes you get excited by all the things that are exciting right now, forgetting that in a year, they're not exciting, the new stuff is exciting, and if you constantly play a year behind, you'll find that you actually only get the things that are still being talked about a year later, which is a much, much smaller list. Don't get me wrong. From the 8 games I like them a lot, or I like some of them a lot. Honestly, I like all of them a lot. I think just some of them are easier to table than others, but there are a lot of winners here, and there are a lot of losers, both in terms of the games I didn't keep, as well as the games I didn't even get to. In any case, then until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I hope you have a good one.